when you look at it now, like athletes, like listen, I'll give them credit. They do all the work. They do all the right things. But you need something for that recovery, man. Like that recovery, especially the older you get, you can't sleep enough hours.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, let's talk about steroids real quick, because I feel like it's a good conversation to have. Like, do you guys really think that, because I feel like we've evolved as humans over time. Like, do you guys feel like we've either degraded or we've gotten better, like we've evolved?
I think in
terms of what, right?
Yeah, like physically, I'd say like
physically we've gotten better.
Okay.
There's different reasons why. The training programs, the sports science, and then the equipment. The equipment's key. Mm-hmm. And if you want me to go into it, I could go into running and how the shoes have drastically changed to the point where people are breaking all sorts of records. They added carbon fiber plates and this like foam they got from like aerospace, so like NASA and stuff, and they got this technology, and now it says that it can increase you from anywhere to 2 to 8% in the speed you run, and that's what everyone wears in the marathon.
Kind of like the push that it gives you, and you're able to kind of like run on the air.
It's energy return.
Meaning,
so it's cushioning.
Can you explain that?
So what happens is there's two forms of it. It all depends where the plate's positioned in the sole. So if the plate's positioned higher in the sole, you're going to get more of a cushiony, and you're going to get energy.
Less shock, right?
You're going to get energy return. You're going to have less on your joints throughout throughout the race. And what happens is it gives you a bounce back. Now, that's better for longer distances. For shorter distances, they position the plate lower on the sole. And what that does is give you quicker turnover with your feet. But what I'm going at with this is for all sports. I mean, if you try playing basketball in a pair of Jordans and try playing basketball in a pair of shoes today, Jordans weigh like 20 pounds compared to these shoes these guys are playing in today.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The reason I want to bring up steroids is because, like, do you feel like steroids, like, kind of help with our evolution, or do you think it's kind of just, like, cheating our way to the top? Like, do you think if someone were to take steroids, that next generation of people, like, let's say a dad, he took steroids, right? Like, would his son be technically stronger, or like, would he have the genes? I mean, we'd have to look at some science.
Here's the thing. I see what Bill was. I want to go back to his answer because it makes sense. I mean, we've definitely developed little things like that will improve our strength. But in terms of the natural strength, which is I think what you're getting at, I think we decreased that, if anything, in my opinion, because people were, more physically, I guess, working and more active physically than we are today. Yeah, we have the technology, we have these advancements that help us in, as well as knowledge. But in terms of using our strength as people used to back then, we definitely don't, because things are simpler. So now I don't have to physically do something as hard as I would do back then. Let's say with the running shoes, I was wearing heavier shoes. I had to perform whether I wanted or not with more effort than a lighter shoe.
Do you think that was better? Do you think that was like better in a sense?
I mean, look, let's talk about running since we're at it, right?
Yeah.
Joint problems are just going to increase and your feet are going to be like dead. But with the technology that they have now and the shoes they make, it's less strain on the joints, which you do not want to have. Why would you want to put a lot of stress on your joints when you're running that long distance? You'd rather use your muscles than your joints. So that's definitely better that we've evolved into the technology and in these advancements. But in terms of strength, we just don't use that much strength.
So I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
Because this is a debate, and I like to hear everyone's input on this.
For sure, let's do it.
What would you guys define as performance-enhancing drugs?
Well, enhancing your performance by having better recovery and the ability to push yourself further.
That could mean a lot of things, though. You could say,
like, for example, this is why I asked. So, the 3 drugs I named are all things that are natural things in your body. And here's the thing with it. How people are genetically gifted. So some people are going to have higher levels than you and are going to be above you in that. So is doing them things that are natural to your body considered performance enhancing, or is it Like, that's where the moral dilemma is. Like, I'm not saying one way is right over another. Like, I don't really, like, listen, Justin Gatlin.
I like where you're going with
Justin Gatlin is maybe the greatest sprinter the U.S. has ever seen. He's argued, if it wasn't for Usain Bolt, he may have been the fastest guy in the world.
I was going to say, is that the guy that beat Usain Bolt?
He beat him a few times, but Bolt always got the better of him because he was bigger and he was a genetic freak.
Oh, yeah. He's crazy.
This guy is known as one of the best in track and field. He got popped in 2014. No one remembers or probably cares at that.
So meaning he was tested positive for enhancing drugs?
Yes.
Yeah. You think, okay, would you guys say Usain Bolt was on steroids? He had to be, right?
Dude,
did you see those triceps, those arms?
This is a very cynical outlook. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I think, I hate to be like this. This is just the reality I've come to. I think that 90% of athletes are probably on it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
and I don't think it's...
Especially at an Olympic level, because you have to be trained for 4 years, like with...
Here's the thing, and this is the God's honest truth. If, like, I'm just laying this out for you. If you had a chance to achieve all your dreams and you, like, do everything you wanted to do, you worked your whole entire life to get to this spot, and you know everyone else is doing it, and that's getting in the way, what do you do? Like, there's financial aspects. Like, if you come from a poor family and you're the family's hope to maybe do right, but I'm not saying one way is right or wrong. I'm just laying out, like, scenarios, kind of.
I think the question is, like, what is the goal? Because another thing I want to ask you guys is, because I heard this conversation before with, like, bodybuilding and stuff. So a lot of the people on the internet who are bodybuilders who look crazy say, like, they're most likely on steroids. But would someone be better off knowing, okay, this person, would they be better off not knowing that person's on steroids, trying to try their best to almost reach that naturally? I feel like that can almost be a good thing because of the fact that it's like, oh my gosh, like, if he's done it naturally, like, what can I achieve? It almost, like, gives this new peak, right, to human potential.
But then it's the other side when you know somebody's on steroids and you can, because there's a possibility you can beat them naturally.
Yeah, there is the other side.
So it's like, if somebody is on steroids and you know that they're on steroids, but you're still there competing because it's still within yourself. Like, I want to win Olympics, but I know, like what you said, like 80-70% of people are on steroids, if you ask me. Yeah. But I would never be on steroids. I would want to do it naturally because I'm pretty sure those athletes still, like, gotta have this kind of regret. Like, look, I won this, but it wasn't natural.
Here's another thing.
You know what I mean?
Do you guys watch football?
Yes.
Do you guys know who
Not
Peyton...
so much into it, but...
Yeah, that's fine. Do you know who Peyton Manning is?
Yeah.
No.
He was New York Giants.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, that's Eli.
Oh, gosh. His brother, Broncos. He's on the Broncos.
One of the greatest quarterbacks ever.
Okay.
He allegedly, HGH was getting mailed to his house, and they called him for it. And it had his wife's name on the box, so he got away with it.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, that no one talks about that. You look at his head. His head's the size of, like, a horse, you know, his head.
Yeah.
Like, you know he's on something. But, like, that's where I always say, like, a lot of these guys are taking it for recovery. They're taking it for all different things. But
wait, what happened? I kind of missed what happened. So he got they sent him something?
He had HGH allegedly delivered to his house numerous times, and they called him. And it was his wife's, apparently.
The name on the mail was, let's say you were ordering steroids and it was coming under my name.
Let me look this up.
They just can't
be sure.
press you on it because it wasn't under your name. But they do know damn well he was using it. They just didn't have the evidence to, I guess,
just
catch him on the fact that he was using it.
HGH or something.
Yeah, because it's all like... Let's get to the tough questions, right? I think it's important to try your best to achieve something naturally. However, we're talking about our body that is physical, right? It can only do so much for the performance and the rest and the recovery. The rest, you will need the supplementation, right? Now, when you're at the level where you're trying to beat others who are using these enhancements that gives them almost double as much advantage, where does your level of natural performing go when they're on something that is doing double as work as you with the same body? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, but then it also comes down to, like,
how do you want to, when you win Olympics, for example, or when you accomplish something, how do you want to be looked at as like, look, I did this, or like I used drugs to do this? Well, no, look, and 90% of our people are doing that, but then there's few that won't choose that. I mean, I would say same thing. Like, maybe it depends on the sport too. If we're talking, no, I look, it really comes down to a person. Like, I wouldn't do it. Let's talk about running. Because for me, it's cheating. That's the way I look at it. Some people might not look at it that way. Some people might look at it, look, there's other people doing it too. So that kind of gives me the right for me to do it too.
Well, is it cheating? Okay, I think what makes it cheating is if it's not normalized. If anything's normalized, then it's not really considered cheating if everybody's on it, right?
Well, it's only cheating if it's against the rules.
What he has too.
That's what I'm saying.
Steroids not cheating then?
It is, in my opinion. However, if me and you are competing, let's just go with small numbers just so it's easier to understand. If me and you are both competing against each other, right? And guys, chime in whenever. So if me and you are competing, it's me versus you, and I'm on something, so are you.
We're both cheating. We're both cheating.
Yeah, but aren't we both doing something that will determine the outcome based on how hard we worked? Because we both use the same enhancement. Now, when you don't use the enhancement,
it's just
because then it goes other things. There's other things to it. Genetics, right? I mean, you can't take steroids and expect for you to be like winning everything.
No, of course.
You still have to train hard.
Exactly.
It allows you to train hard. Like, for example, like Barry Bonds wasn't the greatest baseball player I ever seen because he took steroids. He was the greatest baseball player because he was able to train as hard as he did to be able to do that, if that makes sense. It didn't improve his hand-eye coordination. He still had to hit the ball out of the park.
Yeah. I think the question is, like, what is the goal? Because if your goal, I want to be the greatest bodybuilder ever. I want to be the greatest runner. You're going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. Unless you say, I want to be the best sprinter naturally. Okay, that's the goal. So I really think it just depends on what the goal and what the rules of the match that you're competing in. Because
that's why I asked that question. That are Olympic sports, you can't be like, oh, I want to do this naturally, because you can't. There's people that are on steroids. I mean, you can, but what I'm trying to say is like, it's not separation like bodybuilding, natural.
It's all one thing, right?
Yeah, it's all one thing.
But even like I looked it up on ChatGPT about the Olympics and the people using it, PEDs and stuff, and it says the common use PEDs used in the Olympics is anabolic steroids, EPO, HGH, stimulants, etc. So it said, I'll read it right now.
I've heard something like now athletes can do this where they take steroids and there's this thing that they take that kind of when they're out though. Yeah, and then when they get tested,
here's the thing with the people that are creating the drugs versus WADA, who are the people who are testing. The people who are creating are so far ahead of being able to. They have to create tests to look for these things. Yeah, so that takes time. And by the time they catch up to that, they're already on the next thing. That's why people don't get popped in the moment. Like I heard on Joe Rogan, for example, they had a guy that was an Olympian on, and he was saying, the CrossFit thing at the Olympics is kind of a joke. He's like, people from 10 years ago that won, it's down to the 10th place guy because all 9 before him tested positive.
Wow.
And they were able to get him years later because they figured out how to test for what they were all on it.
And they ran away with the medal 10 years later.
And no one,
but how did they do that? How did
that
they
guy
do that?
got his
no one cares about 10th place anymore.
Yeah, and guess what? That guy got his moment on stage 10 years ago. No one even knows that guy that won the gold medal has it now.
So I think it comes down to the person. Like, what do you want to remember yourself as? Like, on your deathbed, do you really want to be like, oh, like I used all these things to get where I wanted to be? Because it's like, I mean, we could talk about like, a couple years from now, it's like, who cares if like I ran or I built this physique or whatever it is. That's why I feel like with technology and like social media, like you can almost like document things in a way. It's like you can look back and see other people. I don't really know what I was getting at with that, but
all you need is the Holy Spirit's strength, just guiding you.
But the thing is, steroids are not like. Let's just be honest. Like, are steroids bad? I don't think it's bad in some cases. I don't really think so. Like when it comes to bodybuilding or competing.
Steroids, right?
And Icarus, for example, the guy said he went to a doctor, and he had this doctor on Icarus, and he said the doctor said it was healthier for me to take testosterone and do the Tour de France than not take testosterone and do the Tour de France.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
It's probably would have collapsed or something.
So he said it was healthier for him to take testosterone and do the race than not do the testosterone and do the race.
Okay.
Because your
of how
body
much
can't
damage you would go through
exactly.
during the race. Yeah, well, what do you do then? Right? So,
No,
look.
bro.
Well, look at it from
I'm looking at it. You're cheating. That's it.
That's the thing.
There's
like,
a reason why
they.
there's a reason why in Olympic sports, you understand, Olympic isn't just some tournament that you go to. It's a very, very high level what's it called? Competition. Exactly. So there's a reason behind why they ban it. Dude, it's not just something that you also have to work hard with it, but dude, it's crazy. Like
On
it
how
boosts
much it
your
can actually help you.
everything. Yeah. So there's a reason why they're banning it. If it was something like, oh look, we know this people are taking it, we shouldn't ban it. It would be different.
We remember
there's
how
a reason why they do it,
Russian
right?
team got caught in judo. Dude, that year they performed like animals, bro. Probably 5
I
or
don't know if
6
judo
of them.
got caught, but I know swimming did.
Yeah, but
Like
you know,
the Russian swimmers got caught, but we never know till this day if they naturally did or
Here's
not.
another